Hello, so today I'm going to be putting an analog piece together. So I've got all my bits. I've now actually, what I've been doing, started to do, and see if this works, I've gathered up all the bits I need and put them, see if they, assuming they fit, in some of these, I think in America they call them Polly Pockets. We just call them folder pockets or something in here in the UK. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my blade. It's changing. So the reason why I do it like this, and I've written, as you can see, I've written notes for myself, is so that I can keep them all together nicely, and I can have like a day where I come up with ideas and come up with a whole bunch of ideas, and then I can put them together later on, either for a video like this one, or something I put just together myself without the pressure of filming it. So that's a new blade on. So let's get this out and put it together, and I'll talk through what I've got. So I've got just a plain piece of printer paper as the background. I could use nicer card, but I just don't. So what I have here, and the sad thing about this book is from these square kids encyclopedia type books or subject books. I did think of this. I thought this might be good, but it doesn't. One of the things that on the surface, at first glance, yes, it looks quite good. So with take this way, but there's not as much I could do with this as the original idea I had that just jumped out at me. I liked this. A picture of this flautist or flute player. I think the term is flautist. And I had the idea then, I also saw this diver on another one. And I like the idea, as we say here, I've written here, diver on the end of the flute. So I'm going to put the diver balancing on the end of the flute here. And I have this person drinking the water popping out over their over her left shoulder. I assume it's a woman. So, and in the background, in the very background, have this this piece of lightning here, but tilted slightly. So as I've said before, and other things, I like to tilt things. It gives us a bit of a sense of unreality, and as how things are cut out, it's almost like separated. It's not like a, because if I was to do, say, as I do sometimes do pieces that say it's like this, the piece, then that's almost like a snapshot. This is like something else. Could say it's like an illustration, or it's just it has a bit of surreality to it as well. That's not even a right word. This is good. This can be used for something else later, but I could put something else in his hand. I could actually, it doesn't have to be in that configuration actually, because I could, since the hand looks separate, I could have it further out and he has something else there. We'll see what do that. But then there's also this as potential as well. This is the dilemma of collage. Sometimes you'll sometimes have to sacrifice sides of a page unless you scan them in and do them digitally or print them out, or you have multiple copies of the same book or magazine, or there are some actual books you can buy where it's copyright free and royalty free images, and they're only printed on one side of the page. So they look like a good deal at some point. At some point I probably will get one or two of those, and so not often are they pieces that make up the what I consider the main focus of the piece or the main part of the piece, but they're good for they're certainly very good for just, and if you want it for an extra added element. So I shall first just sort of cut round this away, so I'm not, just so I haven't got this getting in the way of me doing stuff. So this is a fairly simple piece. That's what do the video, certainly with the videos I do the more simple ones, because a long complicated piece will just drag on and you'll just see me. There's only so much you'll be able to want to see me cutting out bits of paper. I mean, I can do like the sped up, could do the sped up video thing, or if it comes to it, if I do a video with that's a bit more complicated. I mean, my pieces aren't really that complicated. They're usually only a few. I mean, my piece of artwork not always that complicated. They're usually sometimes pieces of 3 elements, 3 pieces in a image, and that's just basically my style. But if I was to do something a bit more complicated, then I probably would have the scenario where I show you all the pieces that I'm going to do, cut them out off camera, and say here are these together, explain how they're going to go together and put them together. Because that's really what you want to see, really, my explanations of why I do what I do, and to see things come together. Some people might like the whole thing of watching someone cutting something out. I suppose some people might be considered satisfying. Like, there are some people that like to see things being cleaned. My son has a particular video game, an Xbox game that he plays, where it's a power washer game where you clean things off with a power. You take on jobs where you clean things like a park or something, or a building in a power washer, and he finds it very satisfying. So to do that, he also likes to watch things like that as well. I mean, some people do. So this is a bit where it might get a little, some people might find a little tricky. This is one of the better scalpels. I could just stab it in there like that. If I had something smaller than that, I would have to go in a bit like that, and spend a bit more time. Which is something I'm going to have to do here, actually. So here, I just go in, and I cut it to a point. As you can see here, it's a bit square and pixelated like an old video game, so I'll just round it off a little. So there, it looks a bit more, looks a bit neater. That's the thing about me, I would find it too difficult just to, some people might be able to cut completely there. I have to move the piece around, I'm afraid. And if there are people watching this who are new to collage, that are trying to figure out techniques, I hope what I'm doing is actually making sense, because as far as holding scalpels go and how I might cut things, because of me being left-handed. So I hope that translates over well. And that's what it would look like if I tried to actually do it all completely straight there. So it's almost all done now, this piece. I've got to tidy this up a bit. nearly went wrong. Thankfully it didn't tear, although if it did tear, luckily this person's dark haired, so it would be a little easier for me to repair by making sure, depending on how badly it teared or was torn, because I could just stick it back together and I can use, you know, a pen to, like that, or maybe this one's a bit markerish, a bit more finer, to a bit looser ink to colour in where you see the white tears. I've had to do things like that before. Because doing this, sometimes you have to learn how to fix things on the fly where they go wrong. Things can go wrong, which is one of the benefits to a digital piece. You have an undo button. There are no undo buttons with sharp implements, paper and glue, or there are very few undo buttons. It's one of those things where, also sometimes if you make a mistake, if you can, try and make it look deliberate, like you meant to do it. Like I had a musician say once, if you make a mistake, repeat it. So he was saying repeat it so it sounds like it's on purpose. That doesn't necessarily apply here. It shows that high level people, and I'm not high level, can make mistakes. So that's that part cut out now. We're getting there. Just have a sip of my tea. Let's cut that out. This part is reusable though. The other bit wasn't. Now going to the recycle bin. I'm cutting this bit out because I'm not sure if the lightning will go poke out in between there, so I don't want it to look bad. Or worse than these things sometimes do. I don't want to have too much of an sense of unreality. There's a balance, I think. I know sometimes you would see it, depending on where the lightning is, you might ordinarily should see it coming through the glass there, but there's nothing I can really do about that. Not with hand cut anyway. Unless I was to be very skilled, more skilled than I feel like being, and paint it in afterwards. But then that would make it more of a mixed media piece, wouldn't it? Which of course isn't bad. I've done pieces like that before. On this occasion, I'm going full, just collage. Apart from any ink to touch it up or something, or to add my signature. So to touch it, when I say about touching it up, sometimes I might just draw a little around where I cut if it's a dark part like hair, so it doesn't stand out too badly. That's her done, him done, and now just the diver. So look at the back. Yeah, these pieces are still usable, and that's certainly usable, going to be usable for something. So that'll go back in one of the books once I've done this. So this is certainly one of the more fiddly parts of it, because the dive is very little. So a bit of poke right there. So unfortunately, this is probably, since this one's taking a little longer, it's probably not one of the more thrilling pieces or videos to watch. But I'm about to explain something I'm going to do, because since there was a bit of green stuff over there, it would look a bit strange and inexplicable there, so I'm going to colour that in to go with her dark hair. And hopefully it won't rub off too much. Out that comes. I'll cut off the last bit of the flipper. We're almost very nearly done. After that will be where some of the fun will begin of seeing it actually come together. Let's see, while I'm doing this, I still haven't actually thought of a title for this piece, which that is one of the benefits of Analogue, is there's no immediate pressure to come up with a title for these things. Obviously with doing some digital, you've got to call the file something. I mean, you could call it Untitled and then the date, but that doesn't seem... It means you have to change file names and everything. I don't like calling things Untitled, but sometimes it's not always can't be helped, because I have a right devil of a time trying to come up with titles for things. Right, so that's everything cut out. So now, next, what we're going to do is I'm going to put the thing together. So I shall see you in a minute for that. Hello again. So now we're going to put the piece together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue... I've got to chop this bit off. I'm going to glue the person coming up behind the person's shoulders. I think the drinking of the water is a very important part of it, but I'm toying with the idea of having them folding and overlapping a bit like that, because that I think looks quite good. So yes, I think I'll do that. adds a bit of weirdness to it, I think. So I shall use my trusty How It Works television book. The back of that has my gluing pad. So on with my trusty Pritt stick and pop this kid with a glass of drink. I assume it's water coming through there, and I shall then just pop a bit of glue behind his head here to put down there, so it's all stuck nicely. So now the next thing to do is, oops, I've got some spare bits in there. Right, so now thing to do is to make how the tilted lightning will look. So I start to put all this together. The last thing I will put on will be the diver. So first I'm just going to put this on loose just to see how it would look and how. So yeah, the lightning will go over, the glass does go over the lightning, but it's one of those things I just have to live with. So I actually very much like it there and don't want to mess with it. So what I will do is I will just affix down one corner first, and then I shall do the rest. So that's the lightning down there, and next I shall glue up the flute player and the drinker. So let's see how this is going to look. So it's these people on here, and the last thing will be the diver, and see how that is going to come together. Let's have a look. In fact, actually, I shall have the diver kind of straddling the flute a little. So riding it almost like a broom. So put the legs through there. And so those are there put together. So let's see how this looks to you, to me, as well, most importantly to me. I'm very happy with that. It's gone looking quite as well as I imagined, or as I hoped it could be. So I'll sign it here. And I know now, coming up with this while I was sticking stuff down, I shall call this Inspiration. So on reflection, nowadays, I think maybe going forward, if I'm going to use printer paper, I'll use one that's a bit thicker. But this will do fine, because if I scan it in, I can just, these creases here, I can just airbrush out. I'm almost probably never going to do any exhibitions of some pieces, so it won't matter. It's in the reproduction, which is how it will look. So yeah, so let me know what you think, whether you like this. I quite like this as a nice surrealist piece. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't have any political or social meaning to it. Some people may derive anything like that. I just like the weirdness and the joy of it, but you've also got like you've got the calamity element of the lightning, but then you've got the sheer joy of the diver riding the flute. Um, and just make things extra weird, the calmness of the person drinking the drink. It's like the mundane, the mundane amongst all this adds the weirdness, and this is partly, and it's the lightning is where inspiration came from. It was like the flash of inspiration, and it tied in well with the artistry of it, and like I said, you've got the mundane, or paradoxically adds the weirdness to it. So let me know what you think, whether you like it. My link, like, share, and subscribe. My my description has my link tree, which are my merch links on my socials, and also my Patreon link. And I shall speak to you soon. Thank you.